This Bleacher Report one, though, has Jett Howard. Now, that's probably a good place to start because Jett Howard out of Michigan is a guy that I kind of always thought, especially a couple of weeks ago, that guy was like a late lottery pick. Like, there's no use in even kind of like putting him in the prospect lists because I didn't really envision him falling in these mock drafts. I mean, I think that one, the Ringer one that I just mentioned, they have Jett Howard going 28 to Utah. So there's a good chance the Kings could get a really good shooter. Now, obviously, they could get like Bryce Sensabaugh or Brandon Podziemski, who are also very good shooters that might be available when the Kings are there. But Jett Howard, I mean, like that's kind of his strength is shooting, both catch and shoot, shooting off the dribble. Just an absolutely smooth, quick release. Just looks terrific doing it. Can do it off a movement, do little fakes, step back, hit shots. I mean, he's just a versatile shot maker. You'd also be getting a bit of a secondary creator. And you hear this a lot about prospects. It's like, yeah, he'll be able to run out of the pick and roll. And it's just like, will he even do that in the NBA? So I don't know about necessarily Jett Howard trying to be a secondary ball handler on the Kings, but as a floor spacer, he would definitely do that. The question, of course, as with a lot of these guys that shoot, is would he be able to defend in the NBA? And again, kind of going on to the typical issue there is, especially from the wing position coming into the draft, is you'll hear this a lot. He's not quick enough to guard or to stay in front of quick guards in the NBA, and he's also not got the frame that's strong enough to guard bigger forwards. But Jett Howard's got some form of a chance. I mean, he's 215 pounds, not a huge frame on him. I think like by year 2 or year 3, he won't have any issues with the frame, but the quickness thing can be kind of an issue because he is a bit of a subpar athlete. And in terms of his playmaking ability and dribbling and scoring off the dribble and stuff like that, as a righty, he's extremely right hand dominant and does not use his left hand very well. But as an off-ball offensive player, get some coaching on him, you get a situation where you could have a pretty good contributor and at a position that I feel like the Kings haven't really like packed. Like you see them at the guard position. Last season, you had Terrence Davis kind of as a surplus asset. Coming into the season, the center position looked like it was full of depth. That didn't quite pan out, but you never hear that about the wing position for the Kings. Never is it even like hypothesized that they're going to come in with a lot of depth there. And I think if you're talking about a situation where, I mean, even if they bring back Barnes or they replace him with somebody, you got Kessler Edwards off the bench, great defender. He's also a good shooter, adequate shooter. You would imagine that he'll be able to provide that stretchability, but, to complement that with a sharpshooter like Jett Howard would be great. And again, there was little thought in my mind that Jett Howard could even go to the Kings. Again, it was like one of those names where I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But you just see it kind of this musical chairs in terms of mock drafts. These guys, there's a lot of good players here. Like I said, it's a bit of a logjam outside the lottery, basically between like pick 15 to like pick 35. It could go in any order. So the Kings could end up with somebody like Jett Howard, who in some mock drafts is like a 14th, 15th, 16th pick. So it's interesting. It's very volatile in terms of where these guys are projected to go, but